Hello and welcome back to the Collegiate Star League. My name is Chaz. I will be your host for the night. Unfortunately, Llama could not be here tonight. She's rounding up the other llamas. That was a poor joke, but regardless, welcome aboard. We are in for a treat tonight. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Michigan State versus Illinois. Two of the undefeated teams out of the Midwest Division, and boy,
5 seconds remaining.
these guys are good. These guys are very strong, and we're looking forward to some high quality Dota tonight. So, jumping in the bans, pretty standard stuff so far. Outworld Devourer, Ricky's a bit surprising as well as the Omni Knight, but we'll delve into all of this as we can. We got plenty of time, ladies and gentlemen. Ogre Magi coming out as well. These are your stock standard picks of the Collegiate Star League, so good to see him. Shadow Demon is a hero that's kind of fallen out of favor for a few teams at least. At the beginning of the season, he was first pick, first ban material alongside Slardar for a good portion of the season, but kind of fallen out of favor with the rise of Ogre Magi. That's really it. Ogre Magi has just been such a staple support hero of this meta. Himself, the Slardar, and one more that's escaping me at the moment. Regardless, I'm sure we'll see it develop in the draft because, again, these are standard picks. Axe coming out here for U of I Urbana Champaign. Apologies, I am not going to use the full name for the remainder of the game because that is just too long. So they will be known henceforth as Indiana or U of I. Or Illinois, rather. Not Indiana. Oh boy, I borked it. Illinois. My mistake. Axe coming out, though, again, another very solid staple pick of the Collegiate Star League. Alongside Slardar, pretty much the go-to offlaner for any game, really. Throw him in the offlane, or even the farming support role, as we have seen many a times. Pudge coming out here from U of I. That is an interesting one. Let's take a gander at the previous picks of U of I. How much Pudge do they pick? I'm going to go out on a limb and say not too much. Oh no, they picked it twice last week at the 4-position support.
10 seconds remaining.
That seems to be it. Yeah, that's super interesting. They do play a lot of Omni Knight and Ricky as well, so those are targeted bans. Those aren't just out of the blue. So very interesting to see indeed. And wow, a Pudge coming out. And Luna, this is the way that Michigan State, we saw them play earlier in the year. Michigan State, I believe they played...
Radiant team's turn to ban.
Was it Michigan on stream? I'm forgetting it at the moment, but they do love their very cohesive team-based strategies. And Shadow Demon Luna, that is as team-oriented as you get. Get the Luna farmed, get some illusions down, and just start whacking down buildings. So standard stuff, but this is the comfort. We're going to be seeing the top-tier play coming out here from the side of
Dire team ban.
Undefeated Spartan Michigan State. And again, I have to reemphasize because this is such a huge point. Both of these teams are undefeated in the Midwest Division. Winner of this set will take the entirety of the division. So this game has extreme importance tonight. Last game of the week for the season, or last game of the season rather. There's a lot riding on this game moving forward into the spring season. I definitely want to point out that last year Michigan State, not a very strong team. And by not very strong, I mean 0-12. They definitely turned it around, as we could see. It's a whole new roster from what I understand. Lots of fresh blood, new talents, and it's worked to some obviously very high success. And it's great to see new teams rising and falling in the Collegiate Star League. Like just last year we saw Michigan, the top 2 team in the nation. This year they haven't won a game yet, right? And I had to drop that one on Andy. I'm sorry, Andy, but you were spitting too much heat at my UCSD, so I gotta spit on Michigan a little.
5 seconds remaining.
Some more standard bans coming out at Tinker, Invoker, pretty standard stuff. The Huskar is an odd pick. A lot of teams rely on the Oracle and the Omni Knight to really excel the Huskar, but not certain teams. I know Michigan would put Zingle on the Huskar and just run him at people and just let him have free reign. So if that's the style that U of I plays, it's very interesting to see. Final ban coming out is the Lifestealer, and solid ban, very solid ban. We've seen Lifestealer just wreak havoc in the Collegiate Star League. Heroes such as himself and Slardar, Outworld Devour, other heroes that are easily kited, Sven even for that matter, have just been really able to jump back into the meta with just how 6.88 has developed. A lot of these previously kiteable heroes are just very strong now. Items such as Force Staff and Hurricane Pike, which now you can pick up on cores, it is allowed other heroes to gain favor. So particularly, I know one week we saw the Drow Ranger Lifestealer, and typically you would never see those heroes together. But you're able to do it in this meta, just due to the fact that you could pick up Hurricane Pike on a Drow, it's a solid item on her, and then run a Lifestealer in. It's all in all very good. Warlock as well. This hero, dare I say, was one of the most unpopular before 6.88, and for that matter, TI. I mean, even at TI, this hero was barely picked. But man, is he strong. Just BKB Piercing Ultimate. The slow from Upheaval is nothing to scoff at, and me and Gorgon have a field day talking about how no one levels up that ability early enough. But Shadow Word and Fatal Bonds have been talked to death, so there's really no need to go deep into that. But Warlock's such a solid pick, and U of I have a very solid support lineup between the Pudge and the Warlock. They have a lot of sustain, a lot of ability to just get around the map and try to set up kills. So all in all, I'm really liking the early game that U of I is bringing. That being said, Faceless Void, nothing to scoff at. That hero has always been strong. Traditionally in the off-lane role, I believe that's where we'll see him this time. Should fare okay. It is worth noting that against the Pudge, it is a pretty hard pick to pull off, especially against a Morphling who has more Disable to throw on top of it. So that is a potentially dangerous lane for him, but you can't knock that hero, especially with Luna. And me and Gorgon have our differences on what Aghanims are good or not. This is one in particular. Luna's Aghanim Scepter upgrade on Eclipse, I think, is phenomenal with Faceless Void. Yes, it's very situational. I will concede that you need to hit a pretty good Faceless Void ult to get that Eclipse. But when it works, oh, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Morphling coming out from U of I. Another Aghanims upgrade that I would really like to see picked up more often is the, I believe it's called Duplicate, if I'm correct. I know it's not Replicate, because that's the ultimate he has currently, but whichever one gives him a brand new version of the hero is just incredible. And honestly, there are very good heroes you could duplicate with with their current lineup, but I don't expect them to get it. Unless it's going to be an Alchemist's last pick. The Morphling Ags is just a pipe dream, but I would love to see that Aghanims picked up. It's such a fun time. Kunkka is now coming out from the side of Michigan State. Good hero. Solid all around. Bouncing in and out of favor with Disruptor for a while. We typically see the Disruptor used more against the Slardar to slow down aggression. Kunkka's a good pick in the sense that they will be able to get Morphling kills if they so desire, just with X marks the spot. And if the Kunkka player is comfortable on the hero, which I assume he is, shouldn't have too much difficulty stunning the Morphling before Replicate, or Waveform. So all in all, very good, solid drafts from both teams. And by this point in the draft, for some teams, we've seen some, chinks in the armor, so to speak, where the draft is just kind of fallen apart or not fully fledged. But these are undefeated teams, and it's on display here. We can see very solid drafts from both teams. Typically, I like giving an edge to a team, just like I feel like this team's draft is stronger. But honestly, it's going to be a very skill-based or mistake-based matchup, rather. Who's going to make the mistake first? Who's going to concede a bit of ground before the other? And Yeah, very
Radiant
interesting
team's
game
turn
in
to pick.
store for us. Timbersaw will be the last ban from Michigan State. Yeah, so I believe this is going to be an offlane axe. I don't think we're going to see any mid-Pudge shenanigans, as much as I'd like that, or mid-Warlock.
10 seconds remaining.
It's almost assured that Pudge and Warlock will be the support core. That's what U of I has done
5
up to
seconds
this
remaining.
point. Offlane axe. So I believe we're looking at the mid lane for the side of U of I.
Reserve time.
For the side of Michigan State, I believe it is the same. So they will have to tip their hand first as to what they want to go for. Lots of good mid laners banned out though. Odie, Tinker, Invoker, Storm, Huskar to an extent, and Timbersaw. You're leaving yourself a bit sparse. There's still Windrunners or Rangers. Pardon me, Valve. Don't sue me. Shadow Fiend. This hero has fallen out of favor quite a bit. But I do know that Michigan State does like this hero. They've had success on this hero, so it's a solid pickup for them. It works very well with all the heroes they already have. I like this pickup. It's very solid. If they get the Shadow Demon in the right place,
10
between
seconds
Disruption and
remaining.
Requiem of Souls, it could just be a one-team fight in the matter of a single ability
5
use and then a
seconds remaining.
Requiem. So I'm liking how Michigan State has rounded out
Reserve
this
time.
draft. Final pick coming up for U
10
of I.
seconds
They
remaining.
have, well, not many options left in the mid lane. They're going to go with the Sniper. I like this a lot. My one concern with their draft is I feel like between the Morphling and the Sniper, they're kind of going to get run over in the early game. Face up, timed out. How unfortunate. Alrighty, let's just throw ourselves back into some graphics as we get back into the game here. One day, I'll open up the patch notes for Dota, and you'll see disconnecting at the beginning of a private lobby no longer occurs. And that will be a great day. That will be a phenomenal day for the world of Dota. Looks like a few players have also disconnected because we are currently sitting at 3 unpicked heroes. Okay, people are getting back in now. We are waiting on the last hero, and we are paused. Excellent. I'll flip us back into the game regardless. On the side of Michigan State, at Führer Hitler, is the Kunkka. On the Faceless Void in the offlane is Question, who aptly enough has the question mark upside down as his profile picture. That's phenomenal. On the Luna is Mercy. Running down the mid lane on the Shadow Fiend are foreign characters.
I'm fine with waiting and all.
And
but
on the
let's
support Shadow
go.
Demon is Hennessy. Now over on the side of U of I, we have KXZH on the Morphling, Noob on your mid lane Sniper, SU or Sue on the Warlock, Potato Spirit on the Pudge, and finally rounding out the lineup is Windog on your off lane Axe. Kunkka is going to go for a deep ward, taking a different path than we've seen from most teams in CSL. It's going to get down a ward, not to block a camp. So this ward is almost assured to stay. We've seen a lot of teams TP out to this top tower, run through lane, and then just drop a simple ward here, just to block the camp. Or if they are feeling a bit ballsier, over there. However, the downside with that strategy is oftentimes the team will just run straight into another hero, and that's almost soiled immediately. So
30 seconds to battle.
I'm gonna get a ward drop there. Get a bit of frame rate up. Looks like we are back. All right, a bit of frames lost there, but we are sitting a-okay. Yeah, so the ward here from U of I will give them decent vision of the Faceless Void, and really that's their priority target anyways. I feel like that's their best chance of getting a kill. So I like that ward, but alternatively, I do like the ward that Michigan State placed up here. This will give them all the vision they need, really, for the Faceless Void. If the Pudge and the Warlock are just sitting in this area, they'll have the intel, and they should be able to net themselves some security for the Faceless Void, who they really do want to get online quickly. I'm assuming the Faceless Void is going to pick up the standard Vladimir's offering. Gonna help out the Shadow Fiend, gonna help out the Luna. Now, Axe in this lane is going to have a really rough time. We've seen the Kunkka Shadow Demon combo many a times, and this feels like a lane where Axe is going to need to default to his own hard camp sooner rather than later. I don't imagine Void is actually going to get much out of this lane either, so theoretically Axe should have a better time with clearing, although this camp is blocked. I didn't even catch that. Great sentry ward coming out from the side of Michigan State, and that's going to deny the Axe so much farm and time just wasted. So very good presence of mind there to shut down the Axe before the game even begins. He's going to have a really rough time now, and Void not having the greatest time in lane either, but honestly, shutting down the Axe like they're doing is just going to be hugely beneficial, and I love this. The mid lane pull from the Pudge. I'll have to try to catch that on camera next time, but what the Pudge can do is simply hook in, or out rather, I believe is how it's done, the jungle creep. The creep will then run back to its camp because it's too far away, and then pulls the entire creep wave over. This is a great way to net your mid some extra farm under tower, and especially against a Shadow Fiend who's very reliant on these souls, denying the entire wave to the Pudge is extremely detrimental, and I think we'll be able to catch it this time. There's the pull. He's going to draw the aggro over the creeps. The creeps latch on, and only going to pull 2 this time. That being said, denying any creeps from a Shadow Fiend is hugely beneficial, so I really like how Michigan State is utilizing this Pudge. So with both offlaners having a rough time, the cores should have a pretty easy time of getting things done early and often. Luna is going to come online slightly quicker, and I only say that because... Ooh, this might be a kill if the hook comes out, and it should... There it is. Oh. Question did a very good job there of waiting before jumping. I thought he was going to wait until the wave was here, so he could jump through the creep wave and instead dodge a hook, but regardless, the hook was missed anyways. And well, now we're going to see Axe get slightly more than this Void, just due to the fact that Void can't really default to the jungle like the Axe can. So I guess in the same vein, the supports really haven't done as much to harass out the Void, so he should be okay. Yeah, he's going to be able to time jump around, or time walk rather. But very solid methodical play from Michigan State here. And they may have a kill on this sniper if Shadow Demon could just get in ranged. Oh, finally gets in range. The Torrent actually went out beforehand, so this combo is dead in the water. However, X marks the spot. That will spell Noob's death. First blood going the way of Michigan State. Very good support rotation there. With the Luna just having all the time in the world down here, you really don't need to have her here. She can be self-sufficient, push the wave out herself, pull this camp over, do everything she needs to pretty much on her own. And that, if you're enabling a Shadow Demon and a Kunkka to roam at will, that's just incredible for your early game. And this is probably going to be another kill. Warlock has no tools to defend himself, and will get the Shadow Word onto the Void. Oh, smart dodge there. I think he should end up falling. No, time walks it out. He will actually live. One attack away. Oh, the slow from the headshot keeps the Pudge alive. RNGG. Looks like Kunkka will be out of there A-OK. Wow, that could have been worse for U of I.
Not by a long shot.
Not by a long shot, says Sniper, but at the end of the day, this continued aggression from Michigan State, even though they don't pick up as much there as really they probably would have wanted, I really like how Michigan State has been playing this. The Luna has all the time in the world to just do what she wants down here. The Morphling, yeah, has also had an equally easy time, but when you allow your Kunkka and Shadow Demon to go to their full potential and just roam on heroes, that's going to serve yourself very well as the game progresses, just from the net worth lead. And now Void's actually going to get a few waves here himself. Again, the Void doesn't need too much farm to be effective. Really, I would say just the Vladimirs to be an immediate asset to your team. But the more he gets out of this lane, the better. And Well, it actually looks like Luna may be in a bit of trouble here. Between the Pudge and the Warlock, not going to have the easiest time locking down this kill. Axe just needs to run at him. If Pudge gets the hook, this is free. There it is. The call will land, and I believe this is a dead Luna. Indeed it is. TP comes in extremely late here. Void doesn't want to jump in on that. Probably smart. I think he could have with Kunkka behind him, but that's a really, really tough thing to just try to go for. So, at the end of the day, a clean Luna kill in, and now the Morphling comes out ahead. That is very patient Pudge play. Without the patience there to get the axe in position, that kill just doesn't happen. And looks like this will latch onto the Warlock. Oh, the hook comes out. May keep him alive for a bit longer. Pudge, not so lucky. We'll trade his life away. At the end of the day, they'll get one support back for their Luna. Not what you want. There's 4 heroes down there now, and Morphling's still having his way up here, so... Again, you'll take any kill you could get, really, but when it comes at the expense of your Luna, that's really rough.
Radiant's top tower has looked better.
As the lanes start to regress back into their normal forms, we see Void here with really not much more than he started with. Does he have any items on the courier? Yes, he does. He has a full Iron Talon done, and that is it. So, at the very least, he'll be able to take that hard camp slightly quicker. 2 support TPs were cancelled, trying to save the life of the Shadow Fiend, but in the end he got out A-OK. Whenever you see the Pudge, though, that's normally a pretty good signal to send some backup. Now, Void sitting at 1-0-1 really, as mentioned, got more out of this lane than really you'd think the Void probably should be getting. With the Pudge coming up here now, he may be an easier kill, but Chronosphere is up. At the very least, he's a fairly reliable way to get out with his life. Whether or not you want to expend the Chronosphere on an escape is a question more or less up to the user, but this may be a kill. Nope, spotted out. Unfortunate as it becomes daylight just as he's rotating down. Catching the Pudge there. Bit of a botched opportunity, but at the end of the day, that's just a time wasted and not a life expended. So, Morphling's still having a fairly good time, but so is the Luna. She's farming up some more. Not at a place where she's immediately threatening. Almost to the Helm of the Dominator. As soon as she gets that, that should be some time freed up for the supports to go and stack as they see fit. And Morph actually in some trouble here. No Replicate skilled. X marks the spot, actually out of range. He's just going to run on out. That is extremely unfortunate for the side of Michigan State. And a rare misstep. That seemed like it should have been a pretty easy kill. But Kunkka just not in the right position, or perhaps didn't hit X quick enough, and Morph could just run out. Oh, Assassinate channeled onto the Shadow Fiend, who will have to Fairy Fire to save his own life. I believe it was enough, so without that he may have died.
Radiant's top tower deserves just as much help as bottom. Radiant's top tower
that is going to be a tower going the way of the Morphling. Luna was not able to get one of her own. Actually, if they catch the Warlock out here, this may be a free kill, although with Pudge sitting behind, any hero hitting the Chronosphere is actually going to have a pretty easy time getting out of it. So Helm of the Dominator is in fact done for the Luna. However, they're going to see her creep immediately, and blocking this camp as well means Luna is getting nothing for her time, and essentially the Helm of the Dominator is mitigated with that sentry being dropped. We're going to go on the Axe here. No TP's coming in just yet for U of I, and he's a free kill with Eclipse coming out. Shadow Demon getting close to the Dragonlance. Is that finished on it? No, it is not. So no Dragonlance just yet for the Shadow Fiend. Getting closer, slowly but surely. And if they send a TP support up to the top lane, I think this is a kill. Chronosphere available more fairly low, although being able to morph strength is not the easiest thing in the world to deal with. So a ward placed here by U of I actually a while ago to spot out TPs. Not successful just yet. And here come the illusions. 2 points into the glaives. Only 1 point into the damage aura. So this is what's intended, right? Just hit the towers, hit the buildings, and try to level them as soon as you can. Bit unfortunate that Morphling got that top tower as easily as he did, because that's going to give some unnecessary gold to the side of U of I, and oh, the chaotic offering is dropped. Luna in a world of hurt. That's a dunk. Oh, the hook from Pudge will actually miss, but they have so much speed on their side from the successful Culling Blade that he's in actually some trouble, although a great torrent from Kunkka will save the life of the Shadow Demon, if not only temporarily. They're in hot pursuit. Oh, the TP, a very smart one at that. Void is coming in, and yes, he has the Chrono. There it is. X marked the spot. May puts him just on the edge. So actually, nothing doing from that Chronosphere. Shadow Demon now, or Fiend rather, now available to fight, and oh, he's hitting very hard. No Dragon Lance available just yet, but they don't seem to need it. Pudge has no mana for a TP. This is going to be deny only. Torrent will miss. Oh, the Raze will pick it up. The Golem is going to be handed over for free as well. 100 gold that you really don't want to just be handing over.
Radiant's middle tower shouldn't have to take this.
Take a look
abuse.
at that fight recap.
Radiant have fortified their structures.
Very handy gold boost going the way of
Radiant's
Michigan
middle tower
State.
is under attack.
Bit unfortunate that the Shadow Fiend wasn't there earlier to try to get those kills, but regardless, those kills were gathered, and they're in an alright spot. Dragon Lance is now complete on the Shadow Fiend. He has much harder to take down, much better range. Sitting on max souls, he's having a pretty good time for himself.
Dire's bottom
And finally,
tower is under
at
attack.
long last,
Dire's snow
maybe not, maybe longer, this tower will be going down.
Radiant's
However, in the
middle
mid
tower.
lane, Sniper takes the tower down as well. Another hook missed from the Pudge. Not an easy one to hit, but I'd really love to see those getting hit. And Sentry Ward is there. Still going to block up that camp, and that's just unfortunate. Really, the Helm of the Dominator is essentially a moot point at this point. You pick it up, sure, the lifesteal's nice. The armor is nothing to scoff at, but being able to stack camps and just grow yourself such a huge lead is really why you picked that item up, and to no avail thus far. That being said, Shadow Demon is having... Shadow Fiend, rather. Pardon. He's having a pretty decent time for himself. So they're not in any immediate danger by losing these stacks. They are up in kills. They're up slightly in gold. Nothing really that makes you think, oh man, they're in some danger, but they're doing alright for themselves. Sniper also doing alright for himself. Not as let's start over. Not quite as high up on the net worth graph as his laning opponents, but still doing alright for himself. And honestly, Sniper isn't really a hero that flash farms. He takes his time, builds up a lead, and then maintains it just through a series of kills. So he's doing alright for himself. Now, this trap... Oh, good smoke preemptively here. With the sentry going down, they're going to try to get at least one here. If Void manages to find a target, which he will, has to just drop the Chrono. There it is. The medley of ultimates comes out. The boat has arrived, and that is a dead Morphling to boot. X marks the spot, and yes, he will be pulled back. At the end of the day, 2-0, a medley of ultimates coming out, but honestly, that's totally fine. The smoke making all of that absolutely worth it. 1,500 gold swing in the favor of Michigan State. That was every ultimate being expended there.
Radiant's middle tower shouldn't have
And
to
yeah,
take
this is now a
abuse.
free tower for Michigan State to take, though the response from U of I is solid. The Sniper's been down here this whole time, taking what he can. I don't think he's going to be able to level this tower on his lonesome, but with some support, he may be able to. MSU, on the other hand, they will have no time taking this down.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
So they're still letting Sniper hit this on their lonesome, which is curious. I think they want to get the pick off, and with multiple TPs coming in, it was an okay idea, but now there's too much support. I feel like they should have just went for the tower as a group and not wasted so much time, but The deed is done. Axe with a fancy new Blink Dagger on display. He's trying to juke around the trees here is the Luna. Oh! That is a heaping of damage, and there she goes. Another death for the Luna. I believe that is her third, if memory serves. Yes, it is, and falling farther behind the Morph. 700 gold, so nothing insurmountable. Unsurpassable. It's not big. However, you still... This Luna could be much bigger than she is had she not been dying so repeatedly, and it's... Albeit, a lot of these aren't her fault. She was a bit too far during that last push, but that's not that big of a... her other deaths weren't as bad as that last one, rather.
Radiant's top tower
I guess at the end of the day, should she been alive this entire time, had she not died so much, she'd probably be atop the net worth graph right now, with how much time she had in the lane to her lonesome. Now she's going to come back down bot, but here's Axe, and Axe has been the death of her multiple times, so really just needs some time to herself to just farm without any stacks to keep herself relevant either. It's not looking too great for the side of Michigan regarding the Luna. Their other team play has been pretty solid to this point. The Chronosphere into just a heaping of ultimates was pretty much perfectly executed, but
Radiant's bottom tower has
finally the bot lane tower will fall, and yes, the gold lane is dwindling. So Pudge actually caught out here. They will engage on him, but this might be dangerous for MSU to continue chasing on. With Warlock in the area, Pudge is going to heal quite a bit. Had they stuck around, I feel like UI could have won that pretty easily. With the Chaotic Offering, Sniper was still down there at the time. I believe he TP'd out. That's just unfortunate. I think Chaotic Offering alongside a Blink Call would have been just what the Doctor ordered, but regardless, they're just going to lose the Pudge. Losing a single support isn't the worst thing in the world. So, regardless, they will smoke up. I like this play a lot. Keep the aggression going. Keep trying to get these kills that they need. And they're going to go straight for the Morphling. Chronosphere now off cooldown. That's all they really need. Sitting on a Dragonlance on the Shadow Fiend, he should have just enough range to hit the Morphling should this Chronosphere strike true, and it will. Blink Dagger on display from the Void, although lots of health on that Morphling. Requiem is dropped as well. He gets the Replicate out. Don't tell me he lives. There we are. Oh, Replicate's backwards! Under the ward, and he's scot-free. Oh my goodness. Okay, he's not out of the woods quite yet. Pudge is in the area, could get the hook. What a play from the Morphling. He was sitting the Replicate right by his side, and this actually could be a kill now onto the Sniper. Which would be... Oh, nope, Scurry's on out. Haste rune. Good rune. Wow. Very solid play by the Morphling. I'm surprised no one from Michigan State decided to pursue after it. Probably heat of the moment type thing, but very well played from him. Take a look at some items. Dragonlance almost done on the Luna as well. I do like the pickup of the Yasha before the Dragonlance. Yasha farming you a bit faster than the Dragonlance would have, so I do like the pickup here. Lincoln's is done on the Morph. I think we saw it on display in that last fight, if I remember correctly. And finally a Vanguard down on the Axe as well. That's going to mitigate quite a bit of the damage from Michigan State, so I really like that Vanguard pickup. Oh, Void. Eating a lot of damage, but Time Walk is an ability. So he's out. A-okay. Looks like some fancy rotation here from U of I. And oh, the call into Assassinate is something to behold. He just dies. Oh, Hook from the Pudge is going to hold the Shadow Fiend in place. However, Chaotic Offering will do a good chunk of damage on its own. Luna in trouble. Luna is dead. Shadow Fiend's doing a good chunk of damage in the back. He's actually going to get out okay. And I believe I crashed. Temporarily.
On Dire's top tower.
My screen is frozen. This is disappointing. Well, I am going to throw it to the transition graphics. In the meantime, we should be back into the game very shortly. Apologies, folks. I hear the game audio is still going. So this is very odd why I can't see. Alright, quick restart and we should be a-okay. Apologies again. So just to recap what happened there, Michigan State losing 3 due to the chaotic offering coming out, and Shadowfiend getting out with his life. I don't believe Kunkka was as lucky. A very good set of kills there for him, and that should swing the gold pretty heavily in their favor. The Pudge going in deep there was fairly but it needed kill, and well played by them in the end. So jump back into Dota here. The itemization for Michigan State has been pretty solid up until this point. It's just more or less they're kind of losing the tempo advantage that they had, where they were just sending 4 heroes smoked around the map, getting kills where they could, and that's not to say they're out of the game just yet. That was one bad team fight, and it honestly could have been far, far worse, but we're back in game. Apologies for the short break, and that looks like all the action that has happened. Getting chased around the map is you see. Get my auto exec back on, and we are back.
Dire's middle tower isn't going to last long.
So the tower will be falling here in the mid lane in the meantime. Morphling's been doing a pretty phenomenal job just on his own, pushing around the map. I believe he's now sitting on an Eagle Song. That's a pretty big pickup for him. So losing the tower in the mid, pretty big deal. That's Roshan pressure that you're losing. But Morph actually doesn't have a illusion up. He will just TP out. So that's okay. But lots of damage done to this tower. They really need to be cognizant of where this Morphling is at all times, because he's been wreaking havoc, growing ever larger, and if they let him farm uncontested more, it's just, this could be pretty disastrous, given how strong Morphling is against targets that have a hard time locking him down. And that's really the case with MSU. They have Chronosphere for reliable long-term lockdown, and beyond that, it's really Disruption Torrent. So I feel like letting the Morphling go on for too long like this might be a bit disastrous for the side of Michigan State. It is worth mentioning that Lincoln Sphere isn't that great of an item in this game. It's still, I would argue, core on any Morphling that you go. It's just a solid item on him. The stats are great. Blocking anything really with the Lincolns is phenomenal. I'll smoke up for Michigan State here. So we should see a fight breaking out. All this illusion could foil the plans altogether should Michigan get antsy. They will see the axe. Oh, they disrupt it. They know now. And oh, they'll come running in. UIUC was actually smoked up themselves in the back. Chaotic Offering only latches onto 2. Shadowfiend just gets eviscerated. Good Chronosphere in the back line. Although not much damage. Finally, the Warlock will fall, but the Golem was already dropped. The damage has been done. The boat will hit onto 2, and that's a pretty big target. The axe dying is pretty bad news. The Pudge will manage to deny himself. However, Morphling on the back line, if he gets this Luna kill before the replicate ends up, doesn't even need to replicate out. Sniper will probably not get out with his life. Dash and Bash is the name of the game for the Void. Losing 4 for 2 there. And that's not the full death recap, unfortunately, not getting in on the action quite early enough, but great set of pickoffs there from MSU. Disrupting the Axe Illusion so early was most likely, in my mind, the downfall for them, but they managed to stay strong and just keep fighting on and getting some quality kills there, so as the gold finally balances out after that team fight, we're almost back to a difference of 0. Very close game in this game, one of these battle of undefeateds. And Morph with that E-Blade was just devastating that last fight. He picked off the Shadowfiend very early, and then finally getting that kill on the Luna is a pretty big deal. Again, she's been dying maybe more than she should be, but still losing her period is a pretty big deal. And with Morph sitting as farmed as he is, and with few deaths as he is, he's just sitting so highly atop the net worth graph that it's really inconceivable how MSU could really catch up to him. barring a very good kill. He's been farming extremely efficiently all around the map. Pretty decent replicates, and again, he probably would have died a handful more times. I recall the attempted kill on him in the top lane where he sent the replicate illusion out for an escape, and this is too much effort expended for an illusion. Perhaps they knew, but regardless, Morphling was just using that to scout. No big loss for him. And we'll just be farming up. I feel like this favors UIU's... Oh, Morphling does not have a Midas. Oh, Axe does spot out the Luna, rather. Won't catch her. I don't think Luna saw him. Regardless, she'll back up. A relative lull in the action. The first we've really seen in this game where teams are just focusing on farming a bit more than other priorities. And really, I don't know what Warlock really wants to be getting here. I feel like Midas is almost core on him, especially in a game like this. 2 golems would be incredibly good at just negating the strength of MSE, just having 2 golems running around causing chaos in fights, but his decision to skip it won't be their downfall, in my mind. Perhaps waiting that long for your Warlock to really be effective is not the wisest idea. Especially because mana boots have been extremely helpful, especially to a Pudge. Having arcane boots available for the Pudge is very helpful. Nothing to scoff at. Oh! The shotgun on display. Void just evaporates. And he is sitting on, I would argue, all he needs. The Vlads and the Blink Daggers, pretty much the quintessential, I'm Void, I'm helping. I'll drop a Chronosphere and you guys do the rest. But now this is going to be a tower lost, and that is a fairly big deal. At the end of the day, tower gold is easy to reconcile. It's not like tower gold is the end-all be-all, but with a Morphling illusion heading towards the pit, he could just relocate to this, and they have a pretty free Roshan, although if he gets stunned up before he leaves... Oh, he almost got the Luna kill. That would have been devastating. Regardless, this Roshan is all but free at this point, unless we see some extreme Shadow Fiend shenanigans. No, he is out of there. So this is a Roshan going the way of U of I. Most likely going to the Morph? I would imagine? Yes. Okay. Immortality. And now we should see a pretty solid push coming out from U of I would assume, in the bottom lane. Your guess is as good as mine. We've seen a few collegiate teams not really fully exploit the Aegis like we would hope, but I don't think that'll be the case in this game. Both teams sitting at a strong 6-0. Sniper been sitting on a Mjolnir now for quite a while, and I really love the pickup of Mjolnir, especially against a Shadow Demon and a Luna, who are very illusion heavy, especially in conjunction. The Mjolnir's just absolutely going to shred any illusion shenanigans that Michigan State likes to pull. Looks like this is just going to be a clean tower trade. I do like this decision by Michigan State to just concede this. When the Morphling's sitting on an Aegis, that's really not a fight you want to commit to, so a single Tier 2 for Tier 2 trade is A-okay. I think at this point, though, you got to start rallying the troops back to base. You gotta send a few heroes home to defend this, because they're gonna take your Tier 3 and racks much faster than you could ever dream of taking theirs. So with Morph on the high ground doing quite a bit of damage, the illusion, they're gonna take some time to get there. Half the towers just disappeared. We'll get stunned up, and I don't think I like this coming out from Michigan State. Just a bit too slow on the defense there. They're going to lose a fourth, or a 3/4 rather, of their tower's HP, leaving it at a single fourth. As the illusion spam comes, this push is all but over. There's really no way they could hope to sustain their waves against a set of Luna illusions. They're going to try, though. They do have Shadow Word, and that is a great tool at dealing with these extended pushes. They just have so much disable. Oh, Morphling goes in deep. Remember, he has the Aegis. This is completely okay for him. Oh, the Chaotic Offering comes out. The Chronosphere actually latches onto only Warlock. Axe will die, but Luna and Shadow Demon are dead. With the Morphling up, he is not able to waveform out in time, losing a lot of health here. Will stun up the Shadow Fiend, and now he has plenty of health. He should be able to get out A-okay. Linken's is the only thing popped now. 3 heroes alive, and Punch like, where are you going? Let Sniper do this work. Morph will head back in. Should be able to start morphing agility pretty soon here, as soon as the fortification comes back up. And between a Shadow Fiend and a Kunkka, this is going to be a mighty hard task. Although the buyback is here, it is now 100% worth it. They can just get out scot-free with the buyback from a Luna. That sets her back tremendously. She is now just 1,000 gold above the Axe. Oh. Not catastrophic by any means, but really not ideal. Not ideal by any stretch. And U of I comes out of that very, very far ahead. The near 0 gold lead has turned into 5,000 then some. Not necessarily poorly played from Michigan State, other than letting Morphling just whack on that tower for so long. Yes, it's extremely hard to engage onto a Morphling when he's sitting on the Aegis, but I feel like the illusion spam was too deep in their own base to really make it useful or meaningful. At the end of the day, they do hold racks, but buying back on the Luna, while discouraging the racks, is really a cost all of its own. Now this hero, how does she come back into it? Faceless Void taking the Ancients that really she's been relying on as a means of coming back into this game. I don't know. Okay, bonus, she has an Alpha Wolf. That's something. That is something to attribute to the strength of their team fights in the near future. Oh, if Void actually takes the Arcane Rune, he's going to skip it for now. Having Chronosphere on any reduced cooldown would be pretty nice. Looks like he may head back for it now. Indeed, he will pick it up. So if they so choose, though, they could have some pretty short duration Chronospheres on demand. Oh, if the team was here, that would have been a great opportunity for Michigan State. Unfortunately, no TPs available, and Morph's just dancing around down here. Lots of drawings on the map right now, just trying to warn of where this ever so present Morphling could be, and not sure what Illinois is really hoping for at the moment. They're just kind of grouped up. They do have a smoke on the Pudge, so they so choose. Replicate onto the Axe, and this is a great asset to the team, is their ability to scout and make just conscious decisions before they go in. Especially with the Axe too, able to clean up the wave like this, just absolutely great. And if they lose the Alpha Wolf as well, that could be a decent loss. It looks like Luna's just handing it over. Smoked up now. Really don't want to give away too much information with this smoke, as in running into clear Morphling's illusions, but they need to get something here, and it looks like their best bet right now is only this Warlock. Oh, and he's running away. X'd up. Pudge knows, though. He should be able to save his teammate, although Void, with the blink time dilation, will get the Pudge as well. Faceless Void immediately heads back. He knows that Morphling in the area, too much of a threat. So they'll pick up two, essentially for free. Illinois gets nothing else off of that. And a successful smoke coming out from Michigan State. They still have to rein in the gold lead a bit, but really, at this point, 5,000 gold really isn't going to make too much of a difference in a team fight. At least, not so much as to completely swing it. So I feel like Michigan State, all they really need is a solid initiation with the Chronosphere, which again, easier said than done. But they have the tools to deal with that. The Luna, yes, her farm is not superb, but sitting on almost a BKB, soon to be, that is, and a good damage from the Manta and Dragonlance, she should have enough to contribute in these Chronospheres, as well as the Requiem of Souls, so just give it some time, and I think that Michigan State has a chance, given that they see a good Chronosphere. Morphling pushing up the bottom lane all the way. Will draw back some TPs, though. He has just been a pest for this Michigan State team. They can't commit to a full push because they just lose too many heroes. And, well, illusion damage is very strong. But between Fatal Bonds and Mjolnir, those illusions are not long for this world. Invisibility rune now up. I wonder if they are going to wait out the Roshan timer. A quick respawn would be quite the blessing for them, allowing them to keep up the pressure and almost surely getting racks in the bottom lane. 2 minutes remaining on Roshan. Not ideal, but it looks like now with the invisible Morphling, they could do some damage. No real sentries placed in an immediate threat unless he runs uphill here. I think yes, he knows now. He has drawn creep aggro and he knows he is detected, but he's still up here. Shadow Fiend has not responded. Look at the Torrent. They know this is the real one. They saw it was invisible. And I'll just get out. That's really the name of the game. Axe should be able to deal with whatever this wave brings them. Yep. Void now finished with his Manta as well, and they have many illusions on the side of this Michigan State team. 3 Manta styles as well as the Disruption. Very good itemization though from Illinois to counteract this. Just Fatal Bonds, #1, is great at dealing with illusions. Combo that with Mjolnir, and then Axe just being very good against illusion heroes himself. They've prepared for this very well with just how they've itemized. Morph still has room to grow as well with his build, despite how scary he is. Still sitting on a Ring of Aquila. Currently atop the net worth graph, nearly 4,000 gold above the Shadow Fiend. Roshan coming up soon. I believe surely they will check. And they are smoked up. I did not see where this occurred. And it looks like it's just a support just expired. Get the ward. But now with all heroes down here, they're going to know that Roshan is up. Should Axe stay in the pit for just seconds longer? He's smartly going to wait it out. Oh, that would be devastating if he walked out just before. No, there it is. He sees it. Or he's AFK. They're just staring each other down at the moment. And they started. So, as they bring the other heroes in, again, Morphling sitting on the Ring of Aquila, I imagine he will drop that. Although, getting the Aegis on someone like the Sniper to ensure that he'll have some lasting teamfight presence isn't an awful idea, and conversely, Axe. Axe has been dying almost every time they engage. That being said, Michigan State knows what's up. And if they get here in a reasonable amount of time, which has to be very, very, very soon, it won't be soon enough, Axe will indeed grab it. And now a fight is brewing. Oh, the Torrent into the Morph was able to waveform out in time. Chaotic Offering drop, but the stun not doing too much just yet. BKBs galore all over the place. Eclipse's pop not doing too much just yet. It's hitting primarily illusions, and with only the Shadow Demon down, this fight looks disastrous for Michigan State. Kunkka dying off screen. Only the cores surviving for Michigan State, and Shadow Fiend is not even gonna be so lucky. That's 4 dead for the side of Michigan State with no cost to Illinois outside of the Aegis. Now, all they need to do is push. I imagine that the buybacks will be expended very quickly. But still, I don't imagine them going home without these racks. This is essentially free. They are in great shape between Shadow Word, the Golem's still alive, the Mjolnir. This is still very doable. Oh, the Blink Call onto the Shadow Fiend, and he's just dead! That's a dieback. 100 seconds on the bench. Now they could take racks almost freely, and Sniper in the front line. Oh, he may be in trouble, though. Way too far forward. Gonna hit on the Shadow Demon. Not gonna be able to get the kill on either of them. Void just going to town on the poor Sniper. Sniper actually might die here. This would be catastrophic. Okay, that's a pretty big deal for the longevity of this push. However, Morphling going onto the Void will get him in the end. Shadow Fiend disconnected. That is a dead Luna as well. 2 diebacks. Shadow Fiend is still disconnected. Warlock is dead. But with Morphling in the backline just wreaking havoc on these supports, I imagine Michigan State's days are numbered. Void should not have buyback. Indeed, he does not. He bought back for this. Morphling just disregards him entirely. Objective gaming. We'll just take this Rax, and good game is called. Game number 1 going the way of University of Illinois.
Dire victory!
Very hard-fought game. No major missteps. That was quite the treat. The Morphling just played so phenomenally that game, and his team backing him up. Sniper was finally able to contribute in a meaningful fashion at the end of the game, and just really one big misstep, and that was the Roche fight. Losing 4 heroes, having to expend buybacks, and then as soon as the Shadow Fiend had that immediate dieback from the great hook dismember from the Pudge, it was essentially over. So very well played game number 1, really from both teams. Just that one misstep at the end cost them pretty heavily. So we are going to a quick break, but before we do, I have to send a shout out to our sponsor, Band Gaming. Band is a social app helping gamers on campus reach their friends and new people to play with. So we'll be right back after a short message from Band. Don't go anywhere.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.